Hello everybody, my name is Maddie, my company is Fides Films and I'm a video production expert and YouTube specialist. Jonathan from Fairly Marvellous has asked me to do a recorded version of my making the most of video conferencing slide deck. Today we're going to look at on-screen, off-screen and then some Zoom tips as well. So this slide is all about my professional expertise and how that can help. So number one, you want to be centre screen for this. You don't want to be canted off either side unless you have a background which has something that's weighted to one side of the screen. You also want to be at eye line level with the camera. So you see here, I am at eye line with my camera. I'm not looking up at it and I'm not looking down into it because that would just focus people. You want people to focus people on you, not on your surroundings and not on an issue. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to hear what you have to say. And then make sure you have some room for gestures as well. Have some clutter behind you that you don't mind people seeing, maybe some certificates on the wall that make you feel like you're competent in certain things. And if you have props, banner, I'll go into this in a bit, but have something work related in the background so that people can see a bit more of you from looking just beyond, what you're wearing and what you look like. Have some depth to the shot, again another opportunity to give people some variety. I'm side lit from a window here, and if you could be side or front lit by daylight, that's preferable as it's more flattering. Use a desktop if possible, or buy a stand for your device, and that's just to help with having a static image and also to have eye line. And then make sure you have a clean camera because again you don't want to distract people with a fuzzy camera, and try and stay still if possible. This is especially from a networking perspective. There are a lot of networking groups that have taken their networking onto video conferencing rather than being in situ, and that means that people are often watching on a gallery view, which is great. But if you have 20 to 30, 40 people on a gallery view and lots of people are moving around, and that person who's trying to pitch their business or talk about what they do, they're just going to get lost. Everyone's going to be distracted. So try and stay still when other people are talking, and just a bit of mutual respect, and hopefully they'll do the same for you. All right, on your sound. This is actually, I'm using here, I've clipped this onto my lapel, but I use a headphone, which just normal headphones, which has a mic on them, for the ones that I use for my phone. This is important because there are just a few inches between my mouth and this headphone, this microphone here, whereas between my computer and my mouth there's about 2 feet. And the difference there is that this is a very focused directional sound. We naturally speak downwards, so this is a natural direction for the microphone to pick up my sound. It also doesn't bring in all that external sound, so whether you have kids or parents or other people in the background, pets, whatever it is, having a more concentrated microphone will help people to focus on you rather than your surrounding areas. Also try and make sure you have a quiet space, as simple as just letting people know 10 minutes before you have a call that you're about to go on a call, and maybe putting a do not disturb sign on the door. And then lastly, with regards to your sound, Zoom itself, and I'm sure a lot of the other platforms, they have a great function where as long as your window is live, you can hold down your space bar and it will switch your mic on from being in a muted position. So when everyone else is talking, maybe you can mute yourself so that background noise isn't interfering, and then if you want to say something quickly, you just hold down the space bar and it'll enable you to just dip in and out of that conversation. Alright, so to brand or not to brand, it's a big question. As you'll probably see from my background, I've chosen to be a bit more discreet rather than having branding, because for me it just feels more authentic to who I am, to who my own personal and my own professional brand is. A lot of people I've seen, they have virtual backgrounds, they have a lot of they have things on the wall, maybe their logo, they might have a pull-up banner. Whatever feels right to you, whatever you think that feels natural and that the people that you're speaking to would expect, go with that. Like I said, you can have a logo or brand. One thing I would say about that is just to make sure that it is, professionally printed and mounted on the wall. If you do have your logo brand, or that you have a proper pull-up banner and that the light is catching it in the right way and that it's straight and all the rest of it, you want that to work hard to give the right impression on you rather than to actually counter the impression that you're trying to give. This one's a big one for me, your set. All this space around here, this is your set, this is your opportunity to make the most of your situation. when we go and have a face-to-face meeting with a prospective client or a customer, or people come into our shop, they see what, we are controlling certain elements of that conversation. We're controlling what we look like. And if it's in a shop, we're controlling our surrounding areas. So why not bring that into the space where you're having your conversations as well? Like I said, I don't think this is going anywhere, and we're going to be doing a lot more conversations like this over the next few years, if not further, far into the future. It will become just a normal part of our working life. So we might as well get our backgrounds right. I also love the human element to it as well. Having a live background, it says a lot more about your personality, maybe. And if you're in a business like I am, where communication is really important, then your personality and the type of person that you are is important to show. This is just a little bit of an example of a virtual background that is distracting and not adding value. So just a couple of tips coming up on how you can mitigate that. According to the Zoom website, this is how to get the best results. You want bright, even lighting. So you want to be lit from the front, and you want the back to be, really even light, not a spotlight, maybe just like the kind of lights that you would get in a normal office, the panel lights, they're pretty good. So a light, maybe you concentrate a light on the wall that's in front of you, so it bounces back in a bit more of a diffused way, rather than just spotlighting onto your face. You can use a solid background when you want to do a virtual background, then use a green one. You can pick up a cheap green sheet from Amazon for less than £10, tack it up behind you. Doesn't really matter whether it's all the way back there or whether it's a lot closer to you, and that will make your green screen work even better. Obviously don't wear clothing that's the same colour as your backdrop, but we very rarely wear green anyway, and there's no green in our skin, which is why it works as a really good colour. And high quality cameras and using the resolution guides is good. So if you have this camera that I have here, is perfectly fine. But if you want to buy yourself a better quality camera, then feel free. Your image. So as I said, natural light is more flattering. And then please try and look similar to your normal self. Think about what you would usually wear to a client meeting. If that is a shirt, then wear a shirt, maybe a bit open collar rather than having a tie on. But something that the impression that you want to give, basically. Wear a uniform. If you'd usually wear a uniform, have your logo in shot. Probably have your logo on a polo shirt here. If it's smart casual, just make sure it's ironed. Then on a more physical perspective, remember your posture. How do you usually sit in a meeting? Do you sit like this? Do you slump? Probably not. So make sure that your back is straight and you look like you're engaged. Your body language is open and you're engaging with people. I think this is really important for your physical health as well as it is for your impression that you're giving on people. If you don't have an office chair, then make sure you get yourself an office chair and see if your employer or you might be able to invest in one yourself. And that will just help your posture because it will make sure you have a straight back. You don't want to be doing any long-term damage to yourself during this period. Smile and don't look distracted. It's really important to give people feedback over the camera, even if you're not speaking. Thumbs up, smiling. And then if there is something you're distracted by, you can just turn your camera off quickly or turn your sound off, and that will just mitigate any momentary distraction. All right. I would recommend looking at your video settings before you switch on your video. I always switch my video settings on and check my image before I switch on a video, whoever it's with, whether it's in a networking group or whether it's with just a single person. And that's just because, like I said, I want to make sure I'm controlling this whole area around me. Sorry, I'm on an emergency route. Just want to control all the area around me so that I can know exactly what people are going to be looking at. Okay, off screen, your environment, just put these up quickly. In your working space, a couple of things. Please make sure you aren't distracted, because then you aren't in the room. And also make sure your data's safe. This isn't specific to networking or to Zoom necessarily, but it's something that's come up a few times for me. If I left this room, is my computer safe if it's open? Should I lock it? Do I have people around me that I might trust, but my clients might not? So just have a think about that duty of care you have to the data, legal duty of care. On the other side of the door, pets and family, what can you do to reduce the interruption from them? And again, control what people see and hear. Tell your story through your background and your environment and use it as an opportunity to be memorable. And this is any other work that you have going on. So if you're anything like me, I have one laptop screen here, and then I have a main screen here, which is I use 2 screens for my editing. So it took me a long time just to focus on the one screen. You know, email pop-ups come up, I have my WhatsApp as a desktop app, all this stuff is coming up on this other screen, but actually it's a little, it's off-putting for the person who's speaking if I'm just supposed to be listening, and it also means that I miss something really important on the call that I might need later down the line. So what I would recommend is make sure that you just have the one screen. Get clever with your screen use, have your notes on it, have a contact list if you're on a networking call. Be in the room, don't get distracted. Make sure you're using active listening for what people are saying rather than what you want them to say, and react and give feedback as well, because that's really important to some people, and it's something that we all miss when we're in a room together. And then if you are doing something like a networking event where you get an opportunity to talk about who you are and what you do for 60 seconds or something, try to make sure you write a little blurb so people can get in touch with you, but just put it in the chat function straight after you start talking. Don't do it whilst other people are speaking. That's their opportunity to do it. And try not to distract other people by putting yours in, 5 minutes later. And then just lastly, follow up after the meeting. You can have a private conversation between 2 people, but if you can follow up afterwards, that's ideal. Last couple of slides, Zoom tips. As I said, hold down that space bar to briefly switch on your mic. And then also in the 3 little dots, the ellipsis on Zoom, you can change your name. And then I would recommend putting that as your first name potentially. It depends on what name is important to you, but your first name and then your company name as well, so people know what to look for, or maybe the industry in which you work. You can touch up your appearance if you're feeling a little bit dreary after if it's an early morning meeting, and then also save the chat in that ellipsis. If everybody is using the chat effectively, they'll put all their information in the chat, and that's a really great way that you can just quickly save that rather than having to write loads of notes during the meeting. Zoom has lots of good functionality if you log into their website directly, and they have lots of good tutorials as well. And then just some things that I've really enjoyed seeing on Zoom. We've got reactions, thumbs up, people on screen still need your feedback, nods, waves, applause, silent laughter. You can overact a little bit because people really need that feedback because we don't have the dynamics of a normal room environment. Don't forget to copy in all your company info, include your LinkedIn link, and then use the blue drop-down button in Zoom for some private conversations between people, but don't forget to switch it back to everyone if you would then want to send a general message. Do say thank you to the people that are hosting and the people that are presenting, and try to do some more emojis. These things, it might be an indicator of my age, but emojis, I don't see them anywhere in chat, and it doesn't matter what emoji you use, it's just a bit of colour amongst the black and white. So try to chuck an emoji in there. Shortcuts on the screen there, and with a Mac it's just Control Command Space, and with Windows you need to use the touch keyboard, which is usually in the bottom right hand corner of your screen near all your volume controls. And then save the chat for reference so that you can go back to it later. So that's me, Maddie Duggan from Fides Films, and I hope you found this short presentation insightful. I hope you've learned something, and if you'd like to get in touch with me for any help with how to make the most of your set, how to light yourself, where to put your camera, and any of the equipment that you might need to use, please get in touch.